let's talk 2024 Honda CB650R, which is this new and redesigned motorcycle compared to the last model year, the 2023 CB650R, which itself ran from 2019 to 2023. And it was a replacement to the now long discontinued CB650F, which ran from 2014 to 2018. All to say that essentially this motorcycle and its predecessors have been in production for about 10 years now, and it's the perfect time to revisit the bike. So today, let's go wheel to wheel and everything in between on this brand new 2024 Honda CB650R and see for about $9,400 and a decade of experience by Honda what you are getting on this particular motorcycle and whether it's a good time to buy this bike. Then we're going to swing a leg on it, go out there, ride this motorcycle and put the technology to test, especially this weird E-clutch. Then I'm going to quantify my thoughts and give this motorcycle the Emmy score. Let's start by talking about what's powering this motorcycle, and it's the 649cc liquid-cooled inline 4-cylinder engine that makes about 83 horsepower and about 43 foot-pounds of torque. The reason to go inline 4 had nothing to do with the displacement. Obviously, there is the R9T from BMW or almost every Harley-Davidson out there that has a much larger engine size, yet they have fewer cylinders. The reason for a 4-cylinder engine here is performance orientation. They wanted this motorcycle to act like a super sport motorcycle and not like a cruiser or a typical naked bike. It's got high-end horsepower and torque like a super sport bike. That's the same decision essentially Yamaha made with MT-10, the same decision Kawasaki made with Z900 RS, and it's the same decision that Honda made with this CB650R. The good thing about this motorcycle, though, is when you're looking at it up front, especially on a naked bike like this, that no fairing is obscuring your view to the engine, you see these 4 beautifully polished exhaust pipes come out, converging to this one single muffler out there with the really beautiful design of the catalytic converter, which is designed like a flat tablet and stuck under the engine. You don't even see the catalytic converter that's usually bulky and ugly on motorcycles. You don't see it here. And the muffler itself is pretty. I like this tiny minimalistic look of a muffler rather than those huge mailboxes that go all the way almost to the rear license plate on a lot of super sport motorcycles. The expectation is that on those bikes, you're gonna take the whole system off and exchange it with some sort of expensive titanium aftermarket system. On this motorcycle, they designed it so that you can actually stick with this if you want to, unless if you hate the silenced sound of the muffler here. It is really quiet. Actually, why am I describing the sound? Just take a listen to how the 2024 Honda CB650R sounds. Moving up here onto the top of the engine, you have what's called the E-clutch. In fact, this motorcycle and the CBR650R, which I will put a link to that video as well. I reviewed that motorcycle, a very nice one, a very nice motorcycle. Go check it out. These two motorcycles have the exact same engine and they have the exact same E-clutch. And you don't get a choice. You can't get this motorcycle without the E-clutch because you can turn it off. But what is it? It's essentially a quick shifter with a brain. There are 2 servos, one for upshifting, one for downshifting, connected to the ECU. You still have to change your own gears. But if you choose to change your gears, the clutch work is handled by the motorcycle. You don't have to pull the clutch lever in or let it go. It's really good for people who either don't want to do that or they're beginner motorcyclists and don't really know how to manage how to handle their clutch. This motorcycle can computer manage it for you, or you can turn it off entirely and this motorcycle becomes a regular transmission motorcycle, a 6-speed manual transmission. It's not like a DCT. I'll leave a link up on the screen from the Rebel 1100 DCT that I reviewed. That motorcycle has a DCT, dual clutch transmission. That one doesn't even have a clutch lever or a shift pedal for you to change your own gear. The motorcycle completely handles the whole thing, whether you like it or not. The motorcycle will shift its own gears and handles the clutch work for itself for you. This motorcycle, you change your own gear. As far as the braking, suspensions, tire size, all those goodies go, you are getting the generic things you usually get on a relatively higher performance motorcycle. You're getting the 120 front tire, 180 rear tire sizes. You're getting the dual radially mounted 310mm Nissan calipers on this motorcycle, and you're getting ABS with it. There's no option to not get ABS on this motorcycle, and you have no option to turn it off. So that's what's happening with the ABS. Front and rear suspensions are both Showa non-adjustable suspensions, which is typical of a motorcycle in the 9,000-ish price range. However, I think based on customer feedback, they have upgraded the Showa front forks to gold color front forks as opposed to the regular silver ones. There is no functionality increase in these forks. They're just the same non-adjustable generic forks. They just look prettier, and they indeed do look prettier. At least personally, I think the gold ones complement the look of this motorcycle. Now, as far as electronic features and gadgets and gizmos go on this motorcycle, you obviously get this really nice TFT screen on the motorcycle. It's a 5-inch TFT screen, full color, shows you all kinds of fuel and trip data. You also get LED lights all around the motorcycle. You get the ABS, you get the Honda selective torque control, which is Honda's traction control essentially on this motorcycle. You get that, and you can control it via the TFT screen. Even if you get a Honda's OEM grip warmers, grip heaters, you can turn it on and off and adjust it in the TFT screen here. You don't have to add any like ghetto switches to run wires and have a whole independent system for the grip warmer. You can actually control it via the OEM TFT screen, which is nice. You also get a backlit button here. I don't know if you can actually see it in the video from that angle, but it lights up at night, so you can easily find the joystick and manipulate the TFT screen through that. And you can easily turn on and off the e-clutch through this TFT screen. And when you do, you can actually hear the e-clutch turn on and off, the servo activate and deactivate, which is kind of an interesting noise. Actually, here, let me show you what it sounds like. To activate and deactivate the e-clutch, you simply go into the main menu, go down, scroll down over there, settings, Honda e-clutch. Click on the Honda e-clutch, and here is the switch. You can turn it on or off, and take a listen to the e-clutch turning on and off. Anyways, this is the electronic package on this motorcycle. I would have really appreciated if they had added cruise control to this motorcycle, but I guess you can't have it all. Now let's talk about storage on this motorcycle. You get a good amount actually, surprisingly, because there is so much depth to this area under the rear seat, the pillion seat. And to open it, you grab the key, you put it where the keyhole is at on like 99% of motorcycles. You flip it, switch the key, and then bam, you wiggle the seat out, and you have all this space here where the manual and the toolbox, it's missing right now from this bike. I assume the dealership has taken it out, but I can show you the footage from the CB650R, which essentially shares its documents and components with this motorcycle. They actually have the same owner's manual between this bike and that bike because of how similar these two motorcycles are to each other. The engine is the same, the frame is the same, the electronics the same, everything is the same on the two motorcycles. One's got more fairings all around it than this other one. But other than that, they share the same owner's manual, they share the same toolbox, everything's the same. And if you remove them, apparently, you will get a lot of space to store things. It actually goes all the way under the front seat. Even without removing it, you can slide things under. You can't open the front seat with push of a button or pull of a little wire like most Kawasaki's. You actually have to pull out your toolbox and remove these two screws on the two sides of the seat to be able to remove the front seat. I assume that's where the battery is. So it's a little bit more difficult to access, but not impossible. Obviously, 3 minutes and you can unscrew these two, and you should be able to access the seat. And with all of that out of the way, I think you and I are ready to take this motorcycle out on the road and give it a try. But before we do that, a huge shout out to Everett Powersports for allowing us to do this, for allowing us to have this motorcycle straight out of their inventory. This is not a demo motorcycle. This is their bike. They paid for it. And we were putting miles on it just so you guys can see if this is a good motorcycle or not. So a huge shout out really to them for allowing us this opportunity. Go check them out. I'll leave a link to their website in the description section of this video. Go check them out. If you're local, definitely consider buying motorcycles from this place. I'm obviously walking around this and there are so many stickers on so many bikes saying sales $500, $600, $700 off these motorcycles. If they happen to be the bike you're looking for, you're gonna get a good deal. Come check it out. Link is in the description. And with all of that, let's go and ride this bike. What a beautiful November day. Towards the end of November, it's hard to come by days like this in the Pacific Northwest, but it's beautiful. Let's go ride this motorcycle. I forgot my gloves. Don't learn from my mistakes. Always check before you leave that you have your gloves on. Anyways, let's go ride this bike. You gotta watch out. There's only 0.8 mile on this motorcycle. The tires are probably super brand new and slippery, so we're gonna watch out for that. Let's straighten up the GoPro. Now, while you're riding and you let go of the clutch, that light comes back on after a second or two. Now it becomes an E-clutch. You see? It's E-clutching for us. But once I touch the clutch, now the E-clutch is gone. Now I have to let it stay for a second to come back on. So watch out. Every time you touch the clutch lever, you're out of E-clutch. So don't get into an accident or stall the bike. Now if I go neutral, goes back to E-clutch. So let's actually ride in E-clutch only. From now on, I'm not touching the clutch. This is fully in E-clutch mode from now all the way to the end of our ride. And we'll then judge whether it's a smooth transmission or if it struggles to do stuff. All right. So let's go first gear. Bam. Now we wait for the light. forgot my turn signal. Yeah, this E-clutch is fantastic. I have my doubts with the DCT because it was a little clunky. Although, I mean, you know, it took care of the entire gear shifting process. So how much complaining can you do when somebody else is doing all your clutch work for you? But this is on a different level. It's completely smooth, like I'm doing this work. Like an actual rider with some experience is changing gears. That's how it feels. Yeah, I would not be hesitant to get this bike just because it has E-clutch. Worst case scenario, just turn it off if you want. Actually, here, let's turn it off here. I showed you during the video how to do it, but let's do it here too. It says downshift. There. We go to menu, down, scroll down to settings, go Honda E-clutch. Oh, it doesn't let us do it, I guess, during our ride. But anyways, if we were parked and the motorcycle was presumably off, you would be able to go into Honda E-clutch and turn it off. Here, let's do it now actually. Let's turn the bike off. Let's turn it back on. And then let's go to the setting. Right down to settings, Honda E-clutch. Oh, it still doesn't let me turn it off. I don't know why. Oh, because the kickstand is up probably. As long as the kickstand is up, some of the functions of the TFT is limited. Okay, good to know, good to know. Overall, this is a fantastic bike, very comfortable. Looks nice, honestly. If you don't like the Japanese look of, like the extreme Japanese look of the Kawasaki's or the MT-07, this is, I think, the best bike out there really for this money. Okay, let's go back to the Everett Powersports. This is a this is a sweet bike. I'll give him that. And now, onto the ME score for the 2024 CB650R E-Clutch ABS. Let's start with the commuter category. You get LED lights to see better and to be better seen, a new and innovative clutch system that makes commuting even easier, a TFT screen for maximum data display and easy readability, and ABS for those unexpected and sudden break-ins. The bike has adequate storage under the passenger seat, which is expected of a bike in this category. I do find the lack of commute amenities a little bit disappointing. Stuff like heated grips, cruise control, and ride modes like rain versus street versus race should at this point be standard on all street-oriented bikes, especially close to $10,000 MSRP. Speaking of pricing, the CB650R is about $900 more expensive than the Ninja Z650 ABS, about $800 more expensive than the Yamaha MT-07, and about $1,500 more expensive than the Suzuki SV650 ABS. The bike gets roughly 40 miles per gallon and has a 4.1 gallon tank, which is similar to many other naked bikes of this category. As for reliability and parts and labor availability, no other manufacturer can beat Honda, which gives you the peace of mind you need to commute on this bike. The CB650R E-Clutch earns a 15 out of 20 in the commuter category. Now onto the performance/dope factor category. The CB650R has no race riding modes, no cornering assist, no adjustable engine brake controls, no steering bar damper, no launch control, nothing of that nature. It weighs 456 pounds, which is considered pretty heavy when it comes to a 650cc naked bike. That is roughly 40 pounds heavier than the Ninja Z650, 45 pounds heavier than the Yamaha MT-07, and about 20 pounds heavier than the Suzuki SV650. It's got roughly 83 horsepower at the rear wheel and about 43 foot-pounds of torque. As for the design choices and marketplace, it feels very premium. I love the gold forks, the Ducati Diavolo-inspired air scoops, and the dual-tone engine casing. The only downside is that there is only one color available in the US, and that is this pearl gray, and you better like it. The CB650 gets a 9 out of 20 for the overall performance and dope factor category, and it sits here on the list of other naked bikes I have reviewed. The CB650R brings an innovative clutch system and a unique neo-retro design to the market. It isn't as quote-unquote corny looking as a Z650 from Kawasaki or an MT-07 from Yamaha with their jagged angles and crazy designs. And it isn't as outdated and conservative looking as an SV650 from Suzuki. It is a little towards the pricier end of the spectrum for the Japanese naked bike segment, but being a Honda, the long-term savings you're gonna benefit from as a result of its extremely well-known reliability will outweigh the slightly higher MSRP you are paying upfront. So if you want a gray, neo-retro naked Japanese bike with a 4-cylinder engine and a cool new clutch system, well, do I have a bike for you.